Gluten-free is just a hoax and scam. Gluten-free is multi-billion-dollar marketing scam based on selective bias studies and twisted facts. These days, a gluten-free version of a particular food product can cost 3 times as much as its standard equivalent. Americans got ripped off $10 billion by gluten-free scams last year. The people wasting this money are not just those diagnosed with celiac disease. Celiac disease affects less than 1% of Americans. Even the more murky gluten sensitivity applies, at best, to 6% of the population. Only very few people have gluten intolerance. Those who have no problem from eating gluten should keep eating it often because it's a real good natural wholesome plant protein designed by its creator for human consumption. And from the finest wheat flour make round loaves without yeast, thick loaves without yeast and with olive oil mixed in, and thin loaves without yeast and brushed with olive oil. Exodus 29:2. Gluten is a healthy component of natural health foods such as wheat. Just that some people are allergic to it, like how some people are allergic to peanut. Most people get no problem eating peanut, wheat or gluten. Some people mistaken they got sick from eating gluten or wheat, but the truth is they're sick because their body has been damaged by commercial processed foods, alcohol, foods with yeast, GMO foods, drugs, legal or illegal, smoking, soda pop, and not enough probiotics, and as a result they become allergic to wheat or gluten. Very few food plants contain sufficient amount of gluten to be considered rich in gluten. Wheat, barley and rye are the most common grains considered rich in gluten. Most food plants don't have gluten or have only very little gluten. Meats don't have any gluten. Gluten is a plant protein. Chinese have been eating pure gluten made from wheat, called seitan in America, for thousands of years. They don't have any health problem from it. Chinese intentionally make pure gluten and they have many gluten recipes. Pure wheat gluten is one of main protein sources for Chinese Buddhists. Their cooking is well known for their famous dishes made with pure gluten. Seitan, pure gluten, has been eaten in China for at least 2,000 years. It's also eaten in other parts of Asia. None of those people got sick from eating it. In fact, it's a major protein source for Chinese vegetarian Buddhists. For 1,500 years. Wheat gluten, also called seitan, wheat meat, gluten meat, or simply gluten, is a food made from gluten, the main protein of wheat. It is made by washing wheat flour dough with water until all the starch granules have been removed, leaving the sticky insoluble gluten as an elastic mass which is then cooked before being eaten. People in countries where pure gluten in form of seitan is most regularly eaten have longest lifespan in the world. Overall life expectancy, Japan 84.6 years, rated top number 1 in world, Singapore 84 years, rated top number 2 in world, Hong Kong 83.8 years, rated top number 4 in world. Allergic sensitivity to wheat or foods containing gluten is rare in Asian countries such as China and Japan where pure gluten is a common food. Wheat is commonly eaten in China as in USA, so the supposed theory that Americans eat more gluten than Chinese is false. On the average each Chinese eats 92 kilograms of wheat per year, while each American eats 100 kilograms of wheat per year. This means only less than 10% difference in the average amount of wheat consumed by each person in China and USA. Chinese eat almost as much wheat as Americans do per capita. Wheat domestic consumption by country in 1,000 metric tons, kilometric tons, in 2014. China 124,000, 92 per million people. United States 32,221, 100 per million people. Rice and wheat consumption in China, in 1,000 metric tons. In 2014, people in China consumed 148,000 kilometric tons of rice, consumed 124,000 kilometric tons of wheat. This shows Chinese eat wheat almost as much as rice. Pure gluten in seitan form and flour is a common food item for many Asians. It's also popular among some American vegetarians and vegans such as Seventh-day Adventists who have absolutely no health-related issues from eating pure wheat gluten. Mainstream commercial food corporations are lying by pushing highly priced, gluten-free products as a healthy lifestyle, but in fact they are ripping off consumers who shouldn't spend more money on gluten-free products that they didn't really need or benefit from. Biased researches that are being used by dirty greedy corporations to sell their gluten-free products had been done mostly in countries with people living on healthy lifestyle and eating commercial processed food diet, and on a very small number of selective human subjects with gluten allergy who are less than 1% of the total populations in those countries. Those dirty corporations don't use any research that was done on people who benefited from eating wheat or gluten, or at least 90% of the population in those same countries that has less than 1% of population with gluten intolerance. Scam marketers sent paid shill online to spread lies and rumors of dangers of gluten and how everyone was amazing cured of all sorts of sickness and diseases the moment they started buying gluten-free products.